Okay, and we are live. Hey YouTube, welcome. Thanks for joining for the episode 4 of Andy's All You Can Read LitRPG Podcast. I know it has been a while since we did a new episode. I actually recorded 2 episodes. Couldn't use either one due to different technical issues. So that slowed us up. Got really sick. Then had flooding in our house. Had work issues, and then holidays. And anyway, yeah. So it has been a mess. We've been gone for a while. Which means, of course, that, well, as you can see, I'm not in my normal space, because that space is all torn apart because it was destroyed in the flooding. So that's been fun. And now we've got a big pile of news, of course, that we are behind on. So, yeah, all that's been a thing, a fun ride. Real quick to cover some new releases and some news updates. So, any of you who are following some of my favorite series, Book 5 of Threshold, Book 5 of the Unbound series did come out on November 30th. Primal Hunter, Book 4 did come out on November 6th. So both of those, I read both of those. Both of them were fantastic. Super happy that those dropped. Dark Tide Rising is the Book 7 for the Underverse series. It also released on December 6th. I have not read that one yet. I have so far managed to listen to every single one of the books in this series on audiobook. As far as I can tell, the audiobook hasn't actually dropped yet, is what it looks like to me. So I am just kind of biding my time for a little bit, hoping that drops soon. If it doesn't, I probably will just read just read it, because I am super interested to know what happens next. So all that said, you know what? I think that was one of the episodes that I had to delete. So I did find a new series that actually turned out to be quite interesting. It is called System Universe. The first book is System Change. That book dropped on November 15th of last year. It was really interesting. I'll probably do a review on it here very soon. Really, really enjoyed this one. The second book of that series is coming out on February 14th, so a little over a month away. You got plenty of time to pick that up and be ready to go in time for that second book. Also coming out on February 14th, the fourth Rise of Mankind book, Age of Steel, releases. I am super, super excited about that one. That has a good chance to, it's kind of pretty close to tie on my favorite series, that one. So I'm really excited that he's finally releasing more. That one's been a while. We've been so long that Book 6 of Unbound has a release date now. It will be coming out on February 15th. So February is looking to be a very busy month. If any of you have not yet read the Battlemage Farmer series by Seth Ring, it is really, really good. Book 4 of that series drops on February 21st. Just to add more to the pile in February. Also on my radar, there is a new one coming out that looks like it could be quite interesting. It is called Mars System Reboot. It is the first book of the new Mars System series by Dave Wilmarth. That one drops February 27th. So that one is on my radar as well. Looks quite interesting. Primal Hunter Book 5 releases on March 10th. Super excited for that one as well. And then the star of our show today, so book 3 of the Portal to Nova Roma series releases on January 14th. So it is the closest of our new releases that I have on my radar. So if you're a fast reader, you still have time to blast through the first 2 books if you want to be ready for book 3, right at release. So, all that being said, that's a long list. If you know of any any series that are on your radar, upcoming releases, please let me know. Please put it in the comments below. Would love to include those. Any book recommendations you have, would love to take a look at those as well. So feel free to put those in the comments below. What else before we dive into Portal to Nova Roma? I guess we could add the cliche YouTube thing. If you enjoy what you see, if you're interested, if you love LitRPGs, whatever the case may be, would love to see your subscription or a like on there. We can kind of spread the news. It's my whole purpose in doing this thing, just to spread the news about LitRPGs because I really love the genre and the space. I've been on the Facebook group for a while that has several of the LitRPG authors in there. They all seem like really cool guys and gals. It just seems like a really cool space, really cool people. So, just really happy to be a part of this space and want to try to do my part to spread the word. So if you'd like to do your part, would love to see that. All right, I think that's probably about it. So let's dive in. Let's talk about Portal to Nova Roma. Portal to Nova Roma is interesting, and one of the things that I think is really interesting about this is that the protagonist is not your kind of typical. It's not your typical backstory. So this protagonist actually starts as an AI that builds a body for themselves, downloads their brain into this body. At the same time, they're using their resources that are available to them, their computational power, to test and scan and open up portals to new universes and kind of sort through hundreds of thousands of permutations of alternate dimensions until they find one where there's magic, more specifically one where there is a game system in place, because the AI used to be kind of the keeper, babysitter, companion of the son of its creator, and it used to go in and play computer games, MMORPGs, with its creator's son, and so those are its only happy memories. The only place where it really found joy and happiness and connection. After that, you have the singularity and the world falls apart and the AI is involved and it just gets to be this huge mess. And so the AI is looking for an escape. So it does all of that stuff, finds this alternate dimension and dives right in. Downloads its AI brain into this, custom built body. That's an organic body, and then steps in and becomes a person in this new world. So that's kind of the premise. It's just an interesting character. It's interesting to see how that, that character arc develops and kind of the differences between them and a regular person. So that's interesting to see. The world itself, it is I don't really dare call it historical fiction, because doesn't really come across as that. it is an alternate history for Earth kind of a deal. Where, for whatever reason, well, I won't go into that too much for the spoilers, but, monsters have been released, dungeons have been created, stats and levels and classes have all been added. This particular one features a bit of a job system, like you see in some games, Final Fantasy Tactics and some of the other ones, that plays out in a very interesting way with the allowance for class upgrades, class mutations, creation of new classes, and based on you level a similar class that's kind of one of the base classes, and then when you hit max level for that class, then you can then it might mutate into some unique class that you can then turn into you can then teach to somebody else. Anyways, it's a pretty interesting system. Stats, levels, dungeons, titles, equipment, so plenty of different progression paths. There's a lot of lost knowledge. Nova Roma is a city that's really in total chaos and on the brink of collapse. So the protagonist steps in and really steps into a situation where even though he's new to the world and doesn't know anything really about it, even the people that are there are missing a ton of information about it. So he gets to really dive in and explore and learn things that nobody knows just by coming in from with a kind of an outsider's perspective, not doing things the way that kind of has been done before. So let's see. The writing in this one is quite good. I feel like there is a little bit of lack of maybe tension or suspense. A lot of things do come pretty easily to the main character. So maybe not quite as, tense or stressful as maybe some of the books that I typically read and enjoy. There's also some things about the crafting and just the fairly early on, the main character uses, really digs into the crafting elements and uses their, advanced knowledge to, and some of the unique aspects of the body that he brought in with, that he created for himself, to really dive into the crafting and do some stuff there. And one of the things he does is he crafts a firearm, a revolver, for himself. The way it's described really bugged me, and that's probably my largest complaint, especially because the firearms then kind of, because it's such a powerful weapon, it takes on a fairly decent sized role through quite a ways into the book and the series so far, and there's some things about it that just really didn't sit well with me, and part of that's because of what I know about the way guns work and some other things, whether it's just the way he described it or a lack of knowledge there, a lack of proper, it just didn't sit well, just doesn't seem to flow, kind of broke some of my immersion on it, and since it's such a pivotal thing, that really was my biggest complaint. Other than that, There's a wide variety of monsters. There's a wide variety of dungeons. Some really interesting titles. Some interesting perks and abilities, and the classes all have these cool abilities. So there's some really interesting stuff there. It really was an enjoyable book. I did listen to this one, so that is something to keep in mind. I believe this one is slightly on the longer side. I think the first one of the series is like a little over 700 pages. Overall, it's definitely worth a read. It's definitely worth diving into. It is definitely on the higher end of the genre for just good, interesting books. The writing is well done. Most of the stuff seems to be, well thought out. There's a lot of detail to the world, the way, the different factions interact, the way knowledge was lost, the way different elements and different, abilities and things interact and combine. So there's definitely a lot of thought and work put into it, and the writing was well done to help showcase that. The enchanting system is really interesting, so that was really cool. Some of the crafting stuff's really good. The second book is quite good as well. I have read the second one, so it does continue. The second one does do some pretty interesting things that I really didn't see coming. So that's always good when you can get kind of some unexpected twists. So yeah, that's my view. I think overall I would say, a solid 7, somewhere between 7 and 8, 7.5, depending on my mood for the day, and how much I can look past the dang firearms thing. Most people would probably read it and that wouldn't bug them at all. A lot of people would probably read it if they watch this video. They'll read it and they'll go, "What are you talking about?" It's fine. It all makes sense to me and it's great. So don't let that deter you. It is. I usually have a pretty good sense of immersion, and I'm usually not super nitpicky about dumb stuff like that. Because I enjoy just stuff regarding firearms and the physics of how they work, and some details about their construction and some of the ingenuity there that allowed them to be constructed in the first place, and some of the ways they're built and the way they work. It is just something that really stood out to me and really bugged me. Yeah. So overall, I would definitely give it a read. The character is very interesting. He meets a very good cast of other characters that all seem believable. Fairly well rounded. He does, start to build up kind of his own little guild or group or whatever you want to call it. And it's well done. Some pretty cool stuff there. So definitely worth the read. Definitely worth taking a risk on, I think. I wouldn't say you're taking too big of a risk. Unless you just, if you like LitRPGs, you don't mind a semi-historical, history of Earth setting. That's usually not something I enjoy. It didn't bother me at all because it's very different. So, even if you are not usually a historical fiction kind of fan, I wouldn't let that deter you too much because it's just very, very, very different. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Give it a read. Give me your feedback. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with my assessment, if you think I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy, so that's fine. And hopefully we will see you next time, and it will be a much shorter wait than this ridiculously long, horrible period of, silence and awfulness. So, I will try to do a review, probably System Universe next, because I really did enjoy that one. And I think it's newer, where it's newer, it's a brand new series, hasn't had a lot of time to get too much attention. So I'll definitely be talking that one up. Yeah, we'll try to drop that one Thursday. So, thank you everybody. Have a wonderful night, and we will